You're 60, maybe older, you drop something on the floor, and in that split second when you realize you have to bend down and pick it up, something changes. It's not necessarily pain, it's the effort. You know getting down there is possible, but getting back up may take a hand on the furniture, a push from the floor, or a little more planning than it used to. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And more importantly, it doesn't automatically mean that losing this ability is simply an unavoidable part of getting older. Getting up from the floor requires strength, balance, mobility, and coordination working together. And when one or more of those areas becomes weaker or stiffer, the whole movement can suddenly feel much harder. The good news is that these abilities can be trained. Today, I'll show you 5 simple movements that target the major pieces of that movement, and I'll show you how to progress them safely. By the end, you'll know exactly where to start. Getting up from the floor isn't one movement, it's a chain. Your hips and legs need enough strength to generate force. Your ankles need enough mobility to let your body move into the right positions. Your core needs to stabilize your trunk. And your nervous system needs to coordinate all of those pieces at the right time. If you've become less active over the years, some of these abilities can decline. Long periods of sitting, reduced activity, previous injuries, or simply not practicing movements close to the ground can all contribute. Think about your glutes as part of the engine that helps extend your hips and drive your body upward. Your ankles provide an important foundation for balance and positioning, and your core helps keep your trunk controlled while your body changes position. So instead of looking for one magic exercise, we're going to train several pieces of the movement, and we're going to start with the easiest one. Here's the sequence. First, we'll activate and strengthen the glutes. Second, we'll practice standing from a raised surface. Third, we'll challenge ankle mobility and balance. Fourth, we'll train core stability. And finally, we'll practice the actual floor-to-stand sequence. Each movement has a different purpose, and the final exercise should only be attempted when the earlier movements feel controlled and safe. Before we begin, one important point. If you have significant pain, recent surgery or injury to the hip, knee, or spine, an existing medical condition that affects your balance or movement, or concerns about your bone health, please talk with your doctor or physical therapist before starting. If you have severe arthritis or other joint concerns, ask your healthcare provider which movements are appropriate for you. And always exercise in a safe area with something sturdy nearby for support. Move number 1 is the glute bridge. Lie on your back on a comfortable mat. Bend your knees and place both feet flat on the floor. Keep your feet about hip width apart, roughly as wide as your hips. Place your arms comfortably by your sides. Now gently tighten your abdominal muscles. Press through your feet and lift your hips towards the ceiling. You don't need to lift as possible. Instead, focus on creating a strong contraction through your glutes. Pause briefly at the top. Then slowly lower your hips back down. That's 1 repetition. Start with about 8 to 12 controlled repetitions. If that feels comfortable, you can gradually build towards 3 sets. You should feel your glutes and the back of your legs working. You should not feel sharp pain. And here's an important technique point. Don't arch your lower back to get your hips higher. Think about keeping your ribs controlled and squeezing your glutes. If the full movement is difficult, lift your hips only as far as you can while maintaining control. Now we move closer to the real task, standing up. Use a sturdy chair or bench that doesn't slide. Sit near the front edge. Place your feet about hip width apart. Lean your upper body slightly forward. Your nose should move toward your toes as your weight shifts over your feet. Then press through your feet and stand. Your legs should do the work, not your arms. Don't use your hands to pull yourself up. This is what makes your legs stronger. Once you're standing, pause. Then slowly lower yourself back toward the chair. Don't collapse into the seat. Control the entire movement. Start with 8 to 12 repetitions. If you need to use your hands at first, that's okay. The goal is not to prove how strong you are. The goal is to gradually reduce the assistance as your strength and confidence improve. As the exercise becomes easier, you can progress by using a slightly lower seat, but only when you can perform the current level with good control. Next, we're working on balance and ankle control. Stand beside a sturdy counter, kitchen surface, or heavy piece of furniture. Keep one or both hands lightly supported, just fingertips for balance. Shift your weight onto one leg. If necessary, keep the toes of your other foot touching the floor for extra stability. Your first goal is simply to stay stable. Try holding the position for about 10 to 30 seconds. Then switch sides. Repeat 2 or 3 times. As you become more comfortable, you can gently move the free ankle up and down. But don't sacrifice balance just to add movement. If you feel unstable, use more support. Remember, this isn't a test, it's practice. Your goal is to teach your body to make small corrections while keeping you upright. Now let's train the core. Lie comfortably on your back with your knees bent and feet on the floor. Gently tighten your abdominal muscles. Lift one leg into a comfortable tabletop position. Knee bent, foot relaxed. Then slowly slide that leg away from you, straightening it as you go. Only go as far as you can while keeping your lower back controlled and flat against the mat. Return to the starting position. Then switch sides. You can begin with 6 to 8 repetitions per side. If extending the leg is too difficult, make the movement smaller. The goal isn't to move your leg as low as possible. The goal is to keep your trunk stable while your leg moves. If your lower back begins to arch or you feel discomfort, reduce the range of motion or stop. Now we bring everything together. But this is the most challenging movement, so don't rush into it. Practice near a sturdy chair, sofa, or other reliable support. Start from a comfortable position on the floor. You can sit upright with your legs in front of you, or start on your side if that's more comfortable. Roll onto your side. Use your hands to help yourself come to sitting. From sitting, move into a hands and knees position if that feels comfortable. Then, bring one foot forward into a half-kneeling position. One knee up, one foot firmly on the floor. Lean slightly forward. Push through the front foot and rise to standing. Take a moment to regain your balance. That's the movement. But notice something important. You didn't try to jump directly from the floor to standing. You broke the task into smaller steps. Roll, sit, position, half kneel, stand. This is often much more manageable than trying to force the entire movement at once. If getting onto or off the floor is difficult or unsafe, don't practice this exercise alone. You can first practice the individual transitions using a stable support, or work with a physical therapist. Now, let's put the exercises together. You don't need to do everything every day. A simple starting schedule could look like this. On Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, practice your glute bridges and sit-to-stands. On Tuesday and Thursday, practice your supported balance and core exercise. Once the first 4 movements feel comfortable and controlled, usually after 2 to 3 weeks of consistent practice, add a small amount of floor-to-stand practice. Start with just 2 to 3 repetitions. If you need more recovery days, take them. The goal is consistent practice, not exhausting yourself. Don't worry if you don't see a dramatic change after 1 week. Strength, balance, and movement skills take repeated practice. Instead of judging yourself by whether you can suddenly stand from the floor, look for smaller improvements. Can you stand from the chair with less effort? Can you use less assistance? Do you feel steadier on one leg? Can you control the lowering phase more easily? Can you move through the floor sequence with less hesitation? Those are real signs of progress. And when an exercise becomes consistently easy, make one small change. You might add a few repetitions. You might reduce your hand support, or you might use a slightly lower chair. Change only one variable at a time.
There are 3 mistakes I want you to avoid. Number 1, doing too much too soon. More exercise isn't automatically better. If you try to do all 5 movements every day, you'll risk fatigue and loss of control. Stick to the weekly framework. Number 2, ignoring pain. Muscle effort is normal. You should feel your muscles working. But sharp, severe, or unusual pain is not something you should push through. Stop and rest. And number 3, practicing the hardest movement before you've built the foundation. If your sit to stand is still very difficult, don't force repeated floor to stand attempts. Build the pieces first, then put them together. Trying to go straight to floor to stand when the basic movements aren't solid is where people get frustrated or injured.
So, let's review. The glute bridge helps strengthen the muscles that drive hip extension. The sit to stand lets you practice the basic standing pattern. Supported balance challenges your ankle control and stability. The core stability exercise teaches you to keep your trunk controlled while your legs move, and the floor to stand practice brings those abilities together. You don't need to be perfect, you need to practice. Start at a level you can control safely, progress gradually, and pay attention to the small improvements along the way, because getting older doesn't mean you have to stop training the movements that keep you independent.
If this routine gave you a practical place to start, save this video and come back to it during your next workout. And if you want more simple, evidence-informed mobility exercises you can do at home, subscribe to the channel. In the next video, we'll focus on another movement that becomes especially important as we get older, walking upstairs with more strength and confidence. Until then, move slowly, stay consistent, and keep building your strength one step at a time.